Continuăm notele noastre de călătorie cu o excursie în Boston. Suntem în Boston și mergem cu Duck Tours. Deci este un amfibiu care face turul orașului și turul după aceea se transformă în vapor și intră pe apă. Inițial am intrat într-un tur de 24 de ore, adică 8 ore practic, în jur să vedem orașul, dar din cauza de lipsă de turiști ne-au dat jos chiar aici și am mers să ne plimbăm și am văzut acest tur pe care l-am văzut pe internet, dar pe internet nu mai erau bilete decât din februarie. Așa că vom merge și cu vaporul, cu amfibia, prin a doua oară pentru mine în viață. Ok. Așa arată biletul și așa arată harta centrului orașului. Trecem pe lângă o zonă deluroasă care dă numele canalului GBH, Great Blue Hill, Marele Deal Albastru. În 1629, o sectă religioasă din Anglia vine în această zonă, în Boston, și impun religia lor cetățenilor care locuiau aici. În imagine vedem lămpi de stradă care sunt pe bază de gaz, dar cu aprindere electrică. În Boston încă se păstrează aceste lămpi.
Child of independence was born. Massachusetts, one of the 13 original colonies. Boston is a major port. And what's our beef with England? 1761, England has kicked France out of North America. England now wants to get rid of her debt. How? Regulating trade. And telling the colonists and very merchants that, yo, you could only buy things directly from England. Well, John Hancock, he's in the French wine industry, and he's like, dude, you're killing my business. Why can't I buy things directly from France? And England's like, well, if you do, we will. It's in the news. It begins with a T and ends with an F. Tariff, right. John Hancock becomes a smuggler. England gets tired of all the smuggling, passed this law called the Writs of Resistance, allowing any custom agent and go into anyone's home. Let's give a quack to that runner. On your Mac. Without a search warrant, and James Otis is like, wrong, that goes right against the Magna Carta. And for 3 hours he speaks against this law inside the old State House, and John Adams writes in his diary, there the flame of the child of independence was born. James Otis is often referred to as the father of the Fourth Amendment and also of the Fifth Amendment of due process. Take a look on your right. Take a look, see that giant tea kettle? That's not how much caffeine I consume every day to do this job on a daily basis. It's what's called a pictogram. A pictogram is what tells people who may not know the language what is sold inside the store. But what was sold inside the store was tea. There was a contest. If you could guess how much tea could fit in that tea kettle, you could get yourself a year's supply of tea. The correct answer is 227 gallons, 2 quarts, 1 pint, and 3 gills. Once a gill, it's a quarter of a pint. How'd I find it out? I looked it up. On your Mac. This is the King's Chapel burial ground. This is the first European burial ground in Boston, 1630. A lot of those headstones moved around over the centuries, convenient for lawnmowers. This is the King's Chapel. Now, there's been a church on this site since 1686. Now, Massachusetts were the first state in the Union to abolish slavery. But please remember that Boston was around in 1630. So this congregation, take a look, that statue is called Unbound. It is a memoriam to the 219 African Americans who were enslaved by members of this congregation, to remind folks in the United States that although we don't usually think of Massachusetts or Boston involving an enslavement, it did happen here. Oh, that's really good if anyone had too many glasses of wine last night. That's the Omni Parker House. I'm sure those folks are really enjoying the noise right here. That is the Omni Parker House, oldest continuously run hotel in the United States. Boston cream pie was invented there. Ho Chi Minh worked there. Malcolm X worked there. John Fitzgerald Kennedy proposed to Jacqueline Lee Bouvier in the dining room. Anyone staying there? Good. Haunted. Like wicked haunted. Like haunted. Like, yeah. Okay, let's go look at the Patriots. Not the ones that are like doing remarkably well this season. I thought I'd put away all my Patriots gear for years. I'd be like, oh, this team ain't going to be good for another 10 years. Halifax, Nova Scotia. And if you remember what happened in Lebanon in 2020, remember that huge, well, that but bigger. The largest man-made non-nuclear explosion destroys the city of Halifax. Halifax is wiped out, literally just almost wiped off the face of the earth by this explosion. There is one working telegraph, and this guy ends Halifax to Boston. It says, Halifax explosion, Halifax destroyed, send help. And that night, Boston gets this train, a supply train for doctors and supplies and food and nurses. And on the 50th anniversary of that explosion, Halifax sends a Christmas tree to Boston as a thank you. So we always get our Christmas tree from Halifax, Nova Scotia. So, yeah, yeah, that's right, yeah. So I know visiting. Think Times Square, 1960, 1970, yeah, the combat zone. Then that all went away through a couple things, the VCR and the AIDS epidemic. And so this was revitalized in the 1990s, and in 2018 we started to do this, bringing shows back to Broadway, like Moulin Rouge had its pre-Broadway debut, the Neil Diamond musical. Last summer we had Christian Chenoweth in town. Boston, we also have the first medical school for women in Boston. Take a look on your left, the first law school for women, New England Law. Actually, one of our dispatchers, she's finishing up her first semester of law school here. She was talking about that. Now, right across the street, yes, right across. So we'll see where that truck is. Now, that is here's that garage. There was a nightclub that stood there in the 1930s. It was called the Coconut Grove. It was a very popular nightclub in the 1930s. It was designed in island theme. Great if you're in the tropics, not indoors Boston. The last Saturday, November 1942, the club is filled with over 1,000 people. A light goes out in one of the rooms. A busboy is told to fix the light. What's he use? A match. Guess what happens to all the decorations? The only way out was through one revolving door. 492 people lose their lives. It is the third largest death due to fire in the history of the United States. After that, major building code regulations go into effect. Look to your left. See this revolving door? What's going to be right next to it? A door that swings out. That's all because of the Coconut Grove. All right, my little ducklings. Guess what we're going to talk about now, buddy? We are going to talk about poop. Are you ready to talk about poop there, buddy? That's right. We are the #1 tour to talk about number 2. The filling in of the Back Bay. And guess what the Back Bay was filled with? Poo. Not just your poo, everybody's poo. And also your vehicles used to poo as well. Horses, they produce 30 pounds of poo a day. That's a lot of poo. Could you imagine what all that poo would have smelled like on a hot summer day in the 1840s at low tide? Oh boy, smell that poo. Oh, take a look on your left. Somewhere in this building there's an emu. Somewhere in this building there's an emu. Can anyone help me find it? I've been looking for months. Anyone see it? To pop out and go crashing down to the streets below. Got the nickname the Plywood Palace. Take a look on your left. Who's ever seen the show, the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody? There's the Tip Tin. Tip Tin. I know. Yes. Quiet you. There we go. On your back. There's a dog in the building. Oh, that's going to be my Christmas card this year. I'm Corey Copley. Has anyone met Corey Copley? Oh, she's a black lab. She's a greeter dog. She's a good girl. That's right. If you see a dog like that, you don't make that voice. You're a sociopath. Like, oh, who's a good girl? Yes, you are. You're a good girl. Yes, you are. Corey is a greeter dog. The tradition came about in 2001. There was a black lab. Her name was Katie. Katie was going to be trained as a sight dog. Unfortunately, Katie had a bad eye, so she could see, but she could not work as a sight dog. So she was donated here. She lived for 16 years, so there's a new black lab. Her name is Corey Copley. Take a look here on the left. This is the Boston Public Library, better known as the BPL. Boston has the first free public circulating lending library in the United States. Founded in 1848. Its motto is, you'll see it on the Dartmouth Street entrance, right above the head of the goddess Minerva, goddess of wisdom, free to all. That was the condition of one of the benefactors. His name was Joshua Bates. He was going to help fund this free public lending library, but there was a condition to his money. It did not need to have his name anywhere. It was just that the library mustn't for always ever be free to all. That beautiful reading room, that's named after Joshua Bates. There's also on the third floor, there's a beautiful mural done by Mr. John Singer Sargent called The Triumph of Religion. And that's also that you can find the children's room. The children's room is soundproof. It's designed for kids to go run and play. Oh yeah. The best thing about it, free. It's also my favorite building because you see the green and brown building. That's where you'll find the finish line of the oldest continuously run marathon in the world, the Boston Marathon. The Boston Marathon is run on the third Monday in April, which we refer to as Marathon Monday or Patriots Day. Now this is Copley Square, named after the portrait artist John Singleton Copley. One of his most famous works can be seen in the Museum of Fine Arts called Watson and the Shark. Oh boy, what are they doing here? Oh, that's right, yes. They're putting whiteys on one. Now take a look on here right now. This is Trinity Church, built 1872 to 1877 by an architect from New Orleans. His name was Henry Hobson Richardson, H.H. Richardson. The American Institute of Architects every so often publishes a list of top 10 significant buildings. That church makes that top 10 list because it's in the first style of architecture that originates here in the United States. And that style of architecture is called Richardsonian Romanesque. And this is usually at the point of the tour. History is no more. It's now the Museum of Science. And what's inside the Museum of Science? Science! But since we took such good care of the building, we can use it again. It's now our furniture store. It's now Restoration Hardware. That's right. Better known as RH. Wow. Not only do we have ducks here today, but it looks like we got some cranes. Gosh. What's going on with all the cranes here today? Yeah. Okay, now, who likes jewelry that comes in little light blue boxes? Yes. Would you like something? Oh, would you like something from Tiffany's? Would you like something from Tiffany? Would you like, I'm going to get you all something from Tiffany's. At the end of the tour, I'll bring you to this church. This church, the Arlington Street Church, does not have not one, not two, but it's got 16 Tiffany stained glass windows. And they do tours of the windows. So when people are like, hey, Javi, can you get me something from Tiffany's? I'm like, sure. Take them on the tour of the windows. As my father would say, the late Mr. Heartbreak, Javi, it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. For those of you that are not familiar with the Boston accent, what Harvey Heartbreak's father would say, it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. Brought to you by the Boston Duck Tours Bostonian English Translation. Now available on all 28 of our not a park, it is a botanical garden. One time referred to it as a park, and one of the friends of the public gardens like, we're a botanical. I was like, okay, didn't know. Thought you were the friends of the public garden. Didn't sound very friendly. I think they need to work on rebranding. Over to see the Make Way for Duckling statue, written in 1942, and in 1987 a sculptor creates the story of Mrs. Mallard in bronze and her 8 rambunctious ducklings. Take a look to your left. There they are. You'll kind of see, look up for the benches, and there's Mrs. Mallard, and there's Jack, Cack, Lack, Mack, Knack, Oak, Pack, Quack. Want me to do it again? I can do it backwards. Want to see me do it backwards? Here we go. Watch it. Watch this. Okay, here we go. Quack, pack, oak, knack, mack, lack, cack, and jack. See, I just did it backwards. But where is Mr. Mallard? Where did Mr. Mallard go? I found out he went to Gillette Stadium to a Coldplay concert with, oh wait. Oh no, that was somebody else. Oh, okay. Oh, I know where Mr. Mallard went. Mr. Mallard went to the Cheers bar. That's where Mr. Mallard went. Ah, yes. Mr. Mallard was overserved. Because you do not get intoxicated, correct? You are overserved. That's right. Yes. That's right. On your Mac?
Quack, quack.
So cool. All right. Were some of you overserved last night? You're nice and quiet this morning. It's just like trying to keep it cool. So, all right. So we got, where's home for you, sir? It's a Gray Otis house built in 1806. This building, this is the Somerset Club, built by Alexander Paris, same guy that built Quincy Market. These buildings were built in the early 1800s. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow got married at number 39 Beacon Street to Fanny Appleton, and later to become Fanny Appleton Longfellow. Now take a look here. This is the neighborhood where you can find Acorn Street. That's the street that's in all the postcards. How do you get there? Follow the trees. Walk down Beacon, take a right on a Walnut Street, take a left on a Chestnut Street, take a right on a Willow, then you're at Acorn. Yes, the neighborhood's beautiful, but don't worry, my friends. The streets, here the streets can get a little nuts. Get it? Chestnut, Acorn, nuts. That's what my nephews say. Uncle Harvey, you're nuts. And I'm like, no, that's for the courts to decide. Okay, we're almost to the water, buddy. I know, I see we got a little guy right here. Yes, I know. How you doing there, young man, my young friend? Good, good. How old's this little one? 3? Getting all this history in? Yep. Oh, he's absorbed. How about my little flapper right there? Yes. I'm gonna call him Darny Darko. Right there with the yes. Take a look on your left. Now this is our new State House, built 1795 to 1798 by a gentleman by the name of Charles Bulfinch. That's the red brick portion I'm talking about. This is just a ceremonial entrance only used when a visiting head of state comes to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts or when a governor leaves office. Now, I do want to point your attention. Now, I know some parts of the country, they're like, oh, that's bad history. I'm like, no, there's no such thing as it's history, okay? You got to learn from it. Here's an example. Mary Dyer. Now, Mary Dyer was a Quaker. Quakers could not practice their religion in Puritan Boston. Here's a good word to describe the Puritans. A good word would be called a hypocrite. Yeah, Quakers could not practice their religion in Puritan Boston. If they did, they could be banished. If they came back, they could be executed. Mary Dyer was one of those Quaker martyrs. John Adams, growing up, remember hearing stories of the Puritans' intolerance. That's why he included freedom of religion and freedom of speech in our state constitution. 122 Bowden Street. This is John Fitzgerald Kennedy's old apartment building. That's where John Fitzgerald Kennedy moved into when he got out of the U.S. Navy, making it his official voting address, and it was also other members of the Kennedy family's voting address for some years. And it was also on John Fitzgerald Kennedy's on his driver's license the day he was murdered, which in November 22nd, 1963, coming up, I believe, to the 58th anniversary of that next week. Now, I wanted to take a look at that church. There's another hand-me-down building. This is the northern slope of Beacon Hill. This had a large population of free African Americans before the U.S. Civil War. The first all-African American school was established here, 1806. The African Meeting House, which we can still go and visit today, and they'll take you by some of the homes that were used as hideouts. The hideouts were called stations, and the people who helped you were called conductors. And there was a preacher at that church. His name was Lyman Beecher. Lyman had a daughter by the name of Harriet. Harriet would hear the stories of African Americans helping out their fellow African Americans escape enslavement, and she's inspired to write a book later in life called Uncle Tom's Cabin, first book in the United States other than the Bible to sell over 1 million copies. To the November 1960 presidential election, presumably for himself. This is how the man talked. It's easy to do this when your family moves down to Cape Cod, Massachusetts. When his brother Bobby asked him why you're going to bed, John Fitzgerald Kennedy famously said, "It's too late to change any more votes." Keep a good eye down that junior there. That's right. Hey, take a look on your right. Who's ever seen the children's classic movie by Martin Scorsese called The Departed? It's not a children's movie. Please do not. Yeah. One of these days, that joke's going to bite me. All these buildings are all part of a Swedish language and exchange company called EF. And the founder of EF would tell his employees that the fastest way you break down a wall, hop on a plane, travel to another part of the world, learn another language. Yo necesito practicar mi español para 3 meses, bad money, Super Bowl. Es verdad, yes, that's right, yeah. He swept the Latin. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Wow. It works. My friends in the back, you're going to hear a rumbling sound. That is something that we do require. That is now our propeller. Do you want to call it in? I'm going to show you. Okay. So folks, now that we're on the river, and you might feel it's getting a little warm. So, okay. If you want to open up your window, so I'll show you how it's done. Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me. Talk to me, Goose. What was that? What was that from? Top Gun, right? Yes. What was Top Gun's? What was? Val Kilmer was Iceman. What was Tom Cruise? Maverick. You know that term comes from Boston. If you go on the Blue Line, there's a stop called Maverick. Samuel Maverick. One of the first Europeans to settle in this area that we now call today East Boston. Well, his descendants moved to Texas and they became cattle ranchers, and they did not brand their cattle. So people would be like, "Oh, that's a maverick. That's a maverick," becoming known for somebody who did not follow the rules. Now, what we're going underneath, this is the Craigie Drawbridge. This is an active drawbridge, and this is the old Charles River Lock and Dam. Now, that bridge you saw, that is the Leonard P. Seacombe Bunker Hill Memorial Bridge. That is the widest cable stay bridge in the United States, named after the former head of the New England Anti-Defamation League. Part of our big highway project here in Massachusetts, in Boston, 1991 to 2007, called the Big Dig, which we took our old highway system and we buried it underneath the oldest part of Boston. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more when we head over back to the Greenway. You're going to hear a safety horn in just a second. So Captain Bill just sounded that because we're going to be doing a blind starboard turn into the Charles River, and usually this time of the year, last week actually, were you here last week? The guy, there was like a fisherman. Yeah, he caught a striper. Yeah. Yeah. So I was. Yeah. This guy was like, look at this. Yeah. So that was So we'll give a quack up there. Let's give him a quack. On your mark. Don't, they're not going to respond. Language barrier. They honk. Okay, so Danny, can you and your mom come up here for a second for a little bit? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So Danny, can you? So yeah. So why don't you come up here? Okay. All right. So Danny, why don't you come up here? Goodness. Danny, look right here. Give me that same smile. Oh my gosh. Look right here. All right. Look at that. Cool. Is this cool, buddy? Oh, let's do that. Yeah, I get a lot. Okay, cool. This is really cool. And Danny, guess what you get, buddy? Oh, hold on. The fun does not end right here. Let's see here. Who's smarter? This is okay, so this is for you, Danny. This is for you to wear. Okay. And Mom, this is for when the first one falls off. So put that here. You. Okay, yes. Was built in 1910. They thought the first Europeans to cross the Atlantic Ocean were not the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, but were Vikings. My friends from Texas, maybe tonight you might want to go to jail. See that other gray building? Looks like with the bullseye window. That's another hand-me-down building. That's the old Charles Street Jail, built in 1851. When it was open, it was considered a world-class jail because every jail cell had its very own toilet. It was shut down in the 1970s, ironically due to inhumane conditions, reopened as a boutique hotel. The bars inside are called Clink and Alibi. Yeah, oh yeah, it's really nice, yeah. I live in Boston, and I try to, frequent a lot of those establishments, like the Omni Parker House, great to go eat at the bar. Their clam chowder, the Parker House roll, Boston cream pie. Now take a look on your right. This is Kendall Square, Silicon Valley in the east. A lot of biotech companies. Google, Microsoft, Apple, IBM, MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Further up the river, you'll see that red triangle. That's the Citgo sign. That is a landmark for Fenway Park. The Citgo sign is no longer operated by Citgo. It has been preserved as a landmark because marathon runners know for during the marathon, once they get to that sign, it's 1 mile to go, meaning get your ugly cry in now. Like, I'm almost there. Everything hurts. And I gotta poop. And I can't. So that's pretty much how it is. Oh yeah, your ugly cry. Oh yeah. Yes, yes. There's a t-shirt that says, whatever you do, just don't ugly cry. And this is the shot that our founder wanted to show everybody. It is the skyline of the Back Bay. That big blue building, that is technically supposed to be called 200 Clarendon Street, but most people in Boston just call it the Hancock Tower. But the John Hancock Insurance Company moved back into their old building where you'll see the logo. On that other tall building that you see, that is the Prudential Tower. When that was built in 1965, it was considered to be, it was the tallest building in the United States outside of New York City for just a brief period of time. There is a Sky View. It's a company called View Boston. DUKW stand for? Well, I will tell you. The D stood for Design Year 1942, fourth letter of the alphabet, fourth year General Motors is creating military equipment. The U is for the word utility, just like an SUV. The K is a little bit harder, so let me use my Dunkin' Donuts container. Nothing spells Boston than your tour guide using his iced coffee container. See how the K is kind of pointing to the front? Well, that was the letter symbol that General Motors used to identify their vehicles that had front-wheel drive. And the W was just a letter symbol that General Motors used to identify vehicles that had dual rear axle. So since they went in the water, the servicemen just started to call these things ducks for short. 20,000 of these vehicles manufactured up in Michigan, the majority of them. Hats off to all the ladies on board. Manufactured by women. That's why they lasted so long, because women know how to build things to last. These were retired from the U.S. military service in the 1960s. We were not the first duck tour company in the United States. That belonged to Lake Delton in Wisconsin. We were the first duck tour company to start operating in a major metropolitan city. 1994, 4 ducks, 15 employees. 31 years later, we are a company of 28 ducks in our fleet. All of our ducks that we operate today are replica, and although we are on a kind of a turquoise duck, all of our ducks are green technology, biodiesel, something. On your back? Now Cambridge, as I said, is the other city that's to your left. Cambridge is where you'll find Harvard. Harvard is not Harvard was not originally called Harvard. It was just called the College of Newtown. Created and started in 1636. Cambridge was originally called the Newtown, but there is another Newtown west of here that's Newton, Massachusetts. It was Harvard was renamed. The college was renamed Harvard in 1638. When a guy from Charlestown by the name of John Harvard passes away, gives a large sum of money and his library to the college. So they renamed the college after him. Now over to your right, that's Massachusetts General Hospital, better known as MGH. A one-day contract so he could retire as a New England Patriot. Now he was up here earlier in the season because he's this thing called the Gronk Zone. Rob Gronkowski, along with a former New England Patriot cheerleader, created this thing. It's a fitness area that's for his nonprofit organizations that pretty much just have kids, just a place where kids can go and exercise. So yes, that's what the Gronk is. Rushed to Mass General, 18 hours later, first time an extremity is reattached. And it's also also very near and dear to me, because that's what allowed me to become, to run the Boston Marathon. That's right. And people always ask, how do you run a marathon? Easy. You lose your sanity for a few seconds, and then you just sign up, find one online. The Boston Marathon is a little harder to get into. It's a qualifying marathon. Now, did I qualify? Did I run fast enough to earn a qualifying time? Close one year. But then in 2016, the BAA, Boston Athletic Association, it lowered the time standards, meaning I would not be able to do that. So all I did was I became a charity runner for Run for MGH. So why are you going to hear to fortify the top of, as they march off, June 17, 1775, the colonists find that there is a much closer hill. That's Breed's Hill. And that is where the battle was fought. It is one of the bloodiest battles of the U.S. Revolutionary War. Over 1,000 British soldiers are killed or wounded trying to take that hill, which they eventually do. The colonists, the only reason they retreated from that position was they ran out of ammunition, and they only lose about just over 400 of their soldiers. So it's a big blunder for the British military. It's a big morale booster for our fledgling Continental Army. Okay, my friends, you are give her quack. Take a look on your right. We've got some ducks here. On your right. On your mark. One more time. On your mark. Right. The front wheel drive will catch the wind. Catch the wind. Catch the wind. And we'll be back on land. I've had to create this song for screaming toddlers. My first week. My first week. Knows that the British military is planning to march off, and he's going to help create a signal where the place he used to work, the Old North Church. Take a look on your left. This is the New England Holocaust Memorial. The number 1 to 6 million is imprinted in various sequences. Behind that, that is the Union Oyster House, oldest continuously run restaurant in the United States. Go check that out. Been there since 1826. And across the street, that playground, that's where you'll find the infamous cop slide, okay? That's where the Boston police officer went to. Yes, I know it's gone viral. It's no one. Now take a look. May Faneuil Hall stand to a testament to the world that it is one's duty to fight oppression. That was the Marquis de Lafayette. Built in 1742, expanded in 1804. This is on the second floor. This is where our town meetings were held. And that's where people like Hancock would protest the laws by England. That's where they would protest such things as the Sugar Act, the Stamp Act, the Molasses Act, Sister Act. Now they like Sister Act. It was Sister Act 2. No need for a sequel. Okay. Now I know I just went over the Boston Massacre very, very slowly, very, very briefly, but let's kind of do the whole thing. So, why is it such a big deal? Now, if you lived over in England, you just heard this as the incident on King Street. Okay. 2 weeks prior, an 11-year-old kid was killed when a British custom agent, a group of people were harassing him, and they chased him into his house, and the guy fired a pistol in the crowd from his window, killing this 11-year-old kid. Guys give him a slap on the wrist. Don't do it again. So Sam Adams and John Hancock use this as complete propaganda. 1770, there's a British sentry standing where that Bank of America sign is. Bunch of one of the kids is a wig maker's apprentice. He had lent money to the soldier. The soldier will not pay him back. So this kid goes into a tavern filled with the Sons of Liberty, Sam Adams and friends, and they start taunting him, like, "You're not going to pay your kid back." Now the soldier calls for backup. Now the crowd gets larger and larger. Then church bells start to ring. And if you heard a church bell in the middle of the night, that meant something bad was happening or there was a fire. So you have a drunk crowd saying fire. You have a panic crowd saying fire. One of the soldiers gets hit with a snowball, slips, fires off his musket. 5 Bostonians are killed. John Adams, Sam Adams' cousin, goes to the defense of the British soldiers, stating that although we may disagree politically, the rule of law must stand, and he gets them acquitted. He actually blames the King of England himself for doing something that no ruler should ever do: send standing armies to something in their realm, to a city or a town, and this is the king's fault. Okay, take a look on your left. Where's my animal lovers? This is the George Thorndike Angel Memorial. George Thorndike Angel was the founder of the Humane Society. So here in Boston, we have the Angel Animal Hospital. So yes, anytime a family member loses a pet, there's always a $5 donation for a cat, $10 for a dog. Sorry, cat lovers, but cats are sociopaths.
Aici un turist corean ascultă ghidul în engleză, îi se traduce de celular în engleză și în coreeană ceea ce domnul povestește în acest tur. Pe tavanul autobuzului amfibiu se găsesc semnăturile turiștilor care au participat vreodată în armată. A veteranilor de armată. Și aici se încheie prezentarea noastră de astăzi. Mulțumesc pentru atenție, Liliana!